remember when, before I did any meditation or mantra or things like that, and some of you have heard me speak about this before, I didn't have an ability to feel within my body, but I didn't know that I couldn't feel in my body. Okay, it was one of these, what's that called? It's a fancy word for that, oxymoron or something. So I didn't know that I couldn't feel in my body. And so I didn't have an ability to register when I felt stressed or tired or even hungry, thirsty. So I did everything by, like a machine, I did everything by a routine. Here's when I get up, here's when I eat. I would eat in this really routine way. Yeah, now it's time to eat, so eat. Now it's time that you're working. And I had no ability to be able to say, like this, somebody would ask me to do something, I wasn't very good at saying no, so I would say, yeah, no problem, and then I'd be like, oh, when will I do this, when will I do this? And I would cram everything into my working week, or my emotional self, it was outside of work stuff, and I would only register that I had reached my limit when my body would get sick. Usually that's what would tell me that, Emer, you've actually gone so past your limit, you're in reserve. That's the only time I would start to feel it. I would feel like, oh my God, I'm running on empty, like completely empty. I've gone even into minus figures with what I've left. And then my body would get sick. I'd get some kind of cold, chest infections I would get a lot of, or throat infections, headaches, things like that, yeah. And I had to stop then. My body was forcing me to stop. But it still didn't register with me what was leading me to that. I hadn't quite put the pieces together that I was just taking too much on, or I wasn't taking proper care of myself, or whatever it was. So it wasn't until I started my healing journey properly. And when I say properly, like I had done a lot of work through psychotherapy, but when I started my healing journey through body work and through energy work, that was a whole new level of awareness in my body. And I started to notice when I felt out of sorts. I started to notice a little bit more when I felt tired, or I didn't feel good in certain situations or around certain people. And before then, I would have noticed that, but I didn't really let myself notice it. I would just kind of pass it off or fob it off as, Emer, you're mad, or you're too sensitive, or you're this or you're that, or whatever. Yeah. If I didn't feel comfortable around a certain person, I'd give out to myself, like, you're so judgmental, what's wrong with you? And now I might feel that if I'm in somewhere or around certain people or certain places, and if I don't feel right, I'll just leave. I'll trust my feeling that whatever it is, I just don't like it, so I'm just going to leave. Same with food. I could get food somewhere and I didn't like it, but I'd still eat it. I didn't have that ability to fully register, I actually don't want to eat this food, and so I'm not going to eat this food. So that all required a sensitivity. And when I started to do mantra especially, that began to give me back my natural sensitivity. Our body is naturally sensitive, but we're so used to it being numbed out, or at such a heightened level of emotion that it's intoxicated. Our body is not able to feel clearly or able to feel fully. So our natural state is actually quite clear and quite sensitive. We're able to register, what am I feeling, even if it's very subtle. The subtle difference between hunger and thirsty. They're very, very similar, but we have to be sensitive enough to recognize which one is which. Sometimes hungry can feel a lot like tired. Yeah. Or we can be tired because we're hungry. Yeah. And it takes a degree of sensitivity to be able to really feel at that level so that I'm responding accurately. So this is how we can build our window of tolerance. Is allowing that we're sensitive. And allowing that sensitivity can register when we've either gone numb, or we're not able to feel it so much anymore, or it's gone the other edge of being really emotional. That's usually how I recognize my window of tolerance these days. Either I'm really, really tired and I'll just have no space. That can be my Friday evening feeling can sometimes feel like that. Can't even have a conversation, can't even find my keys in my bag sometimes. Just nothing, there's just nothing left. Yeah? And I need to recharge. I need to take that space. Or I'll get really emotional. I'll just be tearful. I could watch, one of these like random YouTube videos. They're feel good videos, but I'm like, oh, he saved somebody, he saved the dog or whatever. And I'll be feeling really emotional in that. Yeah, that's also my cue if I'm crying really easily. Yeah, if I'm over emotional or if I start getting over sentimental or over nostalgic about things, I start registering that my window of tolerance is at the edges. Physical body is the last place that something will show up. If we can be aware of it at a thinking level, mental level, or in our emotions, and if we can address it there, then it doesn't have to come to grinding our physical body to a halt. Yeah. When something shows up in the physical body, that's the last place that our body can tell us something. That's where we can't deny it anymore. That there's an issue, there's something I have to deal with. It stops us in our tracks. So there's a couple of really good ways, and I know I'm talking a lot about meditation and mantra as a really good way to give you space. But a way to enhance that, or if you're somewhere that you don't have time or space to deal with mantra, you can do this. And it's to ground your energy. When we fully ground our energy, that also gives us space. There's a lot of energy that we clear through our energy field into the ground. So if you think back to the old days where we didn't wear shoes and we were always in contact with the ground, we naturally had that way of just clearing our energy and clearing that space. So now we have to arrange that. We live in a city especially, you have to deliberately go to the countryside or deliberately go to the beach or something like that to take that space. And even then we're probably not walking barefoot. Yeah. So to ground our energy, ideally it's without shoes. Rubber sole shoes will interfere with that contact. And so barefoot on the ground and focusing really strong on first chakra and the energy that's moving in your legs. Sometimes we'll see in somebody's energy they're leaning kind of to one side or another. Yeah, energy is not quite balanced. Or our legs will tell us. If energy is flowing more easily on one side than the other, we have a little bit of imbalance there. There can be loads of different reasons for that, but the main thing is just to notice that there's an imbalance and to let yourself focus on grounding. So like today, for example, I can notice that here is tensing more than here for me. So my right side is nice and grounded, but my left side is sort of resisting that a little bit. Yeah, lifting off the ground. So whatever we notice, we can correct, we can adjust. This is not about achieving a perfection all the time. So take that idea out of your mind.